I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time.
You might be a doctor, but I am the doctor.
I'm a doctor, but probably not the one who looks good. Absolutely fantastic.
All of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will. Where do you want to start?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bigger on the Inside, the new Who Doctor. Oh, Jesus Christ! The crap out
So
of
I
me.
was just whipping out the intro theme to Daleks out of nowhere, just really abruptly like the show does.
That is one of the notes I have. Okay, so Daleks episode 4. Do apologize, I'm just moving my microphone around. Daleks episode 4, the Deadly Ally. What do you think, Harris? What do you think, Harry? Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know, Harrison does the Big Finish podcast with me, and that's the second podcast in a row where I've accidentally called Harry Harrison. But to be fair, I've only ever called you it after we've been talking to him or after I've seen him. So it's not like I'm just calling you it out the blue. Anyway, Dalek episode 4, the Deadly Ally. I thought it was okay, but I feel like they need to skip the weird recaps at the start because they're getting longer and longer. The episodes are therefore getting shorter.
I can't wait for it to get to a point where the recap is like half the episode. You just get 6 minutes of recap, then 6 minutes of more plot.
And then like the last 30 seconds is Jodie Whittaker telling us to subscribe.
Yeah. And like the final episode, it'll be 10 minutes of recap, 1 minute of there'll be like then 10 seconds of exposition, then we'll get the bow wow, and then we'll get 40 seconds of plot, and then the credits.
Let's talk about the opening theme to this, because they did the recap, which was about a minute, and then they did about 30 seconds of I can never say it. Exposition, and then the intro. But the intro should have really have come after the recap.
This is a command from the Daleks. All listeners are demanded to subscribe to our Patreon. Subscribe or you will be exterminated. Seek, locate, subscribe.
Yeah, it's they wanted to do a cold open, but they didn't have enough for a cold open. So we really just got like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna fight the entity. Bow wow.
It's a good theme tune. It's good, and I also like the graphics that go with it. But I just feel like it's in the wrong place all the time.
I actually think, generally, this is actually the best looking episode that we've had so far. I feel like those particle effects on the entity and like the green lighting, especially on the strategist Dalek and the scientist Mechanoid, like that scene looked like pretty good. Like there was like actual lighting on those models, and it added so much.
Yeah, it's
like maybe this is the episode where all the budget went.
Yeah, I felt it was the best looking. It might not be the most interesting, but it was definitely the best looking. That said, I am actually invested in the story now that this series is telling. I look forward to it. I'm like, I want, I'm not through the week like, I cannot wait for Dalek. But when it comes out, I'm like, I'll give this a watch. It's not like something I'm just going to pass off. Sorry, go on.
What I was surprised by was that they kind of went the route of having an unlikely Dalek Mechanoid romance thing.
There is a bit, isn't there? Yeah.
Like that's what it was meant to be, right? Like when the Mechanoid was all like, we worked together beautifully. Like that was meant to have romantic implications. Am I misreading that?
I think maybe it is, yeah. A little, like as much as it can be for a Mechanoid and a Dalek, yeah. I'm finding that sometimes the voices are changing a little bit, especially for the Emperor Dalek. Sometimes at the start of the episode, they seem to change compared to how they are at the end. I wonder if that's Nicholas Briggs just sort of experimenting with it as he goes through.
Yeah, maybe kind of as he's been working through it, he's more and more kind of discovering these characters, because it definitely feels like we have a better sense of who the Emperor and the strategists are at this point.
Yeah.
They feel much more fleshed out. I remember one of my worries in the first episode was that the characters would all be a bit one-dimensional. But I feel like as we've gone on, more and more dimensions to them have come to light.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of with Briggs working through the script, he's been through that same process, and that's why his performance has changed.
Who's your favourite, the Emperor or the strategist?
I think there's more going on with the strategist.
Yeah. I like it when he talks as well. I'm enjoying hearing Dalek say more than just one or two sentences. Like actually having back and forth conversations.
Yeah. I found the one exchange I found really interesting where the Mechanoid was like, it seems like the Emperor's forgotten about you. And he's like, that's why I've survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also in that sequence where, I don't know if you picked up on it, she says, she doesn't call a Dalek he, she calls it it. So does this sort of say that Daleks aren't gendered? Because I imagine that if you were to go back and watch it, it's he's there, he's over there. But for one of them to call another one it just stood out to me.
I mean, I guess we've kind of always just assumed male pronouns because they've always had, while an electronic voice has always been a male voice. And so I guess that's why I've kind of made that association. But I mean, I can't think of any time when they've been explicitly referred to as he.
No, I can't think so, but I imagine they must have.
The closest I can think is obviously when Dalek Sec assumes human form, he chooses a male body to host him. And then I guess their creator Davros is male. So I feel like there's kind of a lot of male associations with Daleks.
Did you get adverts while watching this? Because when I've previously watched these, I haven't had any adverts, but I got 2 during this.
I definitely got one before the episode started. There might have been one partway through, actually.
I got 2 midway through, which was slightly annoying because it's like a series and it's a story. It's not like I'm watching a video essay or someone playing a video game. It's a story. I know it's free, so they've got to put some adverts in, but yeah. And there was also a video glitch at 2 minutes 35. The bottom of my screen, the bottom of the screen where it's rendered just suddenly like jolts. And I did wonder if it was just my playback, but I went back and rewound, and it happened again. So yeah, there you go. Adverts
I didn't
and
pick
video
up on that.
glitches. Not very good at all. Not very good for this free content we get weekly. The animation is growing on me. I think it's also getting more advanced as the episodes go on. It also not only is Nicholas Briggs sort of learning the new Dalek voice, it seems like whoever's animated this is also sort of learning how to push whatever software they're using.
Yeah, really, really whipping out the particle effects for the entity, which we've kind of is that just what the entity is, just that green thing?
Well, I was going to ask you about that because you said that you believe the entity could have been the Doctor. Is that right? You said that early on?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. But then we see it now and it's a green mass of light. And then at the end, they send it back to its original dimension, which suggests that... I mean, the way the episode ended kind of suggested that the entity has been resolved and now the focus is going to be Daleks versus Mechanoids.
Yeah. I did wonder if maybe the entity was sent by Time Lords, because it's not really been made clear when this is set. So I was thinking maybe it's set during the Time War at some point, or maybe at the start of it, or...
I bet there's a Time Lord Victorious comic or novel which directly links to this and explains what the entity is.
Yeah.
Where the Time Lord Victorious are like, I'm going to defeat the Daleks in another dimension, and
the Mechanoid has when they get taken over by the entity, their voice changes.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand a word they were saying.
No,
I couldn't.
Because it was on top of the electronic filter they already had, they then had an additional filter.
Yeah, and then plus the epics. The music to this has been really good, but it was just so overpowering that I couldn't make out what was being said. And I thought about putting the subtitles on, but I was like, but I shouldn't have to put the subtitles on. Putting the subtitles on is really an option for people who can't hear. I can hear. The fact that I'm having to put them on is a failure of whoever's made this. It's not. It's like
Actually,
very
noticed,
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, this episode actually, I found it surprisingly funny. I don't know if kind of like as I'm getting to know these characters, I'm starting to notice the humor in. But there's one bit where the Emperor Dalek is like, "I am the last of the Daleks," and it just immediately just smash cuts to this strategist.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was intentional.
I laughed. I don't know if I should have when he's the Emperor Dalek's getting shot and he's getting blasted around, and he just goes ah.
No, I can't think when it's like, your Emperor's making good target practice, and it just cuts to him just being like absolutely demolished by the entity.
It was good. It was it looks good and it has good moments, but it's not been my favorite episode. I'd say this is episode 4. I'd probably say it's my third favorite if I had to rank it so far.
My second favorite.
I think episode 2 was my favorite, then episode 3, then episode 4, then 5.
I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure. Or maybe this is my favorite so far. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel like I'm starting to really get a groove for it now.
Yeah. I know when we started talking about Time Lord Victorious, we were like, what is this? But I think it is just a brand name that's been used to just sum up a year's worth of weird Doctor Who stuff that they're putting out there.
Yeah.
Almost like, don't worry about it. It falls under this category, and that's all you need to know. Just read it and enjoy it, or watch it and enjoy it, play it, or whatever.
I guess it kind of like permits them to kind of play with continuity and mess around with things a bit more.
Yeah.
Because here, like, we've got a story where, like, the Daleks are almost completely wiped out. I mean, to be fair, this isn't the first time the Daleks have been almost completely wiped out.
Yeah.
Like, in New Who alone, I can think off the top of my head of at least 2 times the Daleks have almost completely been wiped out. So,
yeah. How do you think they're going to bring the rest of the Daleks back? Do you think we're going to see that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how Time Lord Victorious works. Like, maybe within that framework, they could end it with the Daleks being destroyed finally.
What if we get to the end of this and it's like continued in comics, and then we have to review the comics?
I'm not reading. I'm sorry.
No, I think a few. This has been a really good, fun thing. How many episodes are there?
I don't know. Is it going to be 6 or 10?
I can't remember how many there's going to be. But if it gets to the end and the end isn't the end, and it's just a way of making me buy additional things, I think a few people will be slightly annoyed by that.
Yeah. I feel like Doctor Who is a bit more integrity than that, I'd like to think.
I hope so. I hope so. Did you know you can get a Dalek drone and Dalek Emperor figurine set?
Maybe.
Get
I bet it'll be really limited edition though.
Oh no, I'm looking at it here. £20.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm just looking now at doctorwho.tv.news to see if they've said how many episodes there's going to be. I feel like they will have said. I'm just having a quick look. I don't care what Joe Sugg says. I thought he might have returned. It seems strange to have Joe Sugg in something like this and then only have him appear in one episode.
Maybe he's spenny. Maybe he's expensive to have, so just use them for the one episode.
Maybe, yeah.
He's kind of, in a way, the biggest name they've got for this series. So.
Yeah. No, definitely. 5 parts. So we've only got one more.
Oh, so next week's the last episode.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's a shame.
Wow. Yeah, I was getting into it. I feel like I kind of wish that I'd done a drinking game with this episode, because I thought like a quick way to get absolutely hammed on this episode would be to take a drink every time they say the word entity.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's quite strange. Like I just then when I found out it was the last one, I was like, oh, that's a shame. But when we started doing these, I was like, are we going to do another one of these? Are we going to do episode 2? I'm not sure about this. And now I'm like, oh, no, it's ending next week.
This one is over, which is really surprised me. Maybe they, if it's got enough of a following, they'll do another series.
Yeah, I'd totally be up for that. I'd be up for seeing more of this.
This will be the Doctor Who equivalent of The Mandalorian.
I've been watching this, and I'm
episode.
finding this more enjoyable than The Mandalorian.
Are you still watching The Mandalorian?
No, I watched all series 1. I got a bit into series 2 then, and I just lost all interest.
Yeah, all I know about this is that apparently Baby Yoda is called Grogu, and Ahsoka was there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like we're going a bit off topic, but it's like I watch it. I don't watch it because it's instantly spoiled on Twitter. I don't even have to go looking for it. I don't. It's like people say, "Well, don't search for it." I don't search for it. It just appears.
Yeah, it's just on my Facebook feed. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if I don't watch it midnight when it comes out, I'm going to miss it, and it's going to spoil it for me. So it'll probably be one of those things that I'll wait till it's finished and I'll rewatch them all, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm not really
I don't know if I
gagging for a
could do
Star
that,
Wars
though,
fix.
because the Mandalorian is pretty episodic. Like, there's a lot of if series 2 is anything like season 1, there'll be a lot of episodes that don't really go anywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, that's for our Mandalorian watch-along podcast. I'm sure there is one.
I think in episode 5 of Daleks, they should introduce
Baby Dalek.
I was gonna say like Baby Ood.
Which Doctor Who monster would be the cutest as a baby?
I feel like Ood's like Baby Slovene.
Yeah, have you not seen like the little Slovene they had in the Sarah Jane Adventures? Like they had a child Slovene.
Oh, did they kill it?
Probably.
Sarah Jane kills children.
Just Baby Slovene. She saw it and she shot it straight through the skull.
Oh, so it's just Slovene. I see. That's how it is.
Let me see if I can share this with you so you can see it.
Okay. Actually, I take it all back. Throw vinegar on that shit.
Baby Doctor Who.
Did they use like the exact same costumes from series 1?
I'm not sure. I think so. Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I never watched much Sarah Jane, but I got the vibe that the Slovene were in it a lot.
Yeah. What about Baby Absorbalov?
Oh yeah, baby. Does PK have any kids?
He does, but I think it should still be voiced by Peter Kay. Oh, that'd be great. I'd definitely watch that.
Anything, any Absorbalov content, I'm gonna like absolutely.
He'll never come back. He'll never return. Never return.
He should.
But Peter Kay hates that. He's like, it's the worst thing I've ever done. Like, I think he got asked in an interview, like, do you have any regrets when it comes to work? He was like, when I was in Doctor Who.
I mean, to be fair, he's had a pretty strong career, so. No. You know what the worst thing Peter Kay has done actually is? All of those lazy BBC compilation shows.
Comedy Shuffle.
Yeah, the Comedy Shuffle. That's like such a lazy thing. Like, and I bet he gets royalties for that.
Yeah. Well, I had tickets to go and see him before he cancelled his tour. And then it's just like, he's just hasn't, obviously I won't say anything about Peter Kay because I don't exactly know if there's something wrong with him or for whatever reasons. But it's just laziness. It's just the equivalent of someone making a YouTube compilation.
I feel like it dilutes the Peter Kay brand. Like, before Comedy Shuffle, Peter Kay like had a real kind of esteem to him. You know, like if Peter Kay was attached to something, it was of good quality. And like, sure, he didn't do stuff very often, but then when it came out, you knew it was good. And this is kind of an oversaturation.
Yeah.
And it brings it down. It brings down the Peter Kay. I don't know why I'm so passionate about the brand of Peter Kay.
Anyway, that's all from us on Peter Kay, the Peter Kay Watch Along podcast. That's all from us on Garlic Bread Weekly. We'll be back next week for more Peter Kay antics, where we talk about the time he did something with Paddy McGuinness and the time he didn't do something with Paddy McGuinness. I'll say goodbye. Bye, everyone. Harry, do you want to say goodbye?
And Sweet Marie is waiting for me.
Yes, that's what it'll be called. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Harry.
Bye-bye.
Humans are better in one respect. You are better at subscribing. Seek, locate, subscribe.